have been raised. Where they're not material planning considerations, as it suggests, they are not taken into account, and members are very familiar with that process. This is a site visit for members to appraise themselves of the sites. The comments that you are all making will have been made in your letters, or that was the process that you were offered, to make them in your letters, to make them in your representations, and in the assessment of the committee report, these have all been taken into account.
I only got it confirmed yesterday that that is an SSI site down at Kingsteps, so you don't know that. Nobody else on the committee has taken that into account, that salt marsh down at the bottom that you're going to tip all this into is an SSSI and a UNESCO Ramsar site of international importance, and that's where you're going to drain any waste sewage that comes out of that into.
There's no waste sewage.
If that overflows, it's going to go on the bird.
You're suggesting a situation that is not happening. This is a pumping station. There is no intention that it's going to discharge raw sewage.
What happens if the pump fails?
Well, you could say that about any of the situations. There's no indication that the pump will fail.
We have that.
Is your car never broken down?
We already having raw sewage discharged into the river now.
Yes. But that doesn't happen either, and it only happens in storms.
Chair, can I just ask a question of the Principal Planner for clarification of the roads? You mentioned that the primary school, if the houses go ahead, the primary school will be Aldern. Can you indicate for us, please, where the access would be? Would we be using the road that we've just come along, or would we be using an additional road to access the primary school?
There was no additional road.
It's a difficult question to answer at this point,
Can we hear the answer, please?
because school transport is organised in relation to the capacity of the buses and the number of children that have to be used. So the size of the bus and the number of pickups and where the location of those pupils come from, because to the east of us is a very rural area where there are a number of pickup points, and if that combines with this area, the sense would be to go from eastward of Kingsteps and through to Aldern. Now, at the moment, there are very minor roads in that location. In years to come, there's proposals for a dual carriageway. But there are other kids that go back. The principal road is the one that we came in out to Lochloy, onto the trunk road, to Aldern, and into Aldern off the principal road. So a lot depends on how the education service wishes to organise that number of children, the size of the bus, and who wins the contract.
Okay.
But it is this access road.
And just to clarify, the children that live in the houses at Kingsteps behind us that we can see there, are they in the catchment area of Aldern, or are they in the catchment area of the Nairn?
Aldern.
They're Aldern. And these houses that are beside us here, are they?
Some of them are in Aldern catchment area,
okay,
and may choose not to go there and elsewhere. Others, the boundary for the catchment area is probably about 200 yards in that direction, because it was done in an old field boundary rather than what you see today.
Okay.
And that's why there's a major review going on of the catchment areas, because the community has changed quite significantly in the last few years.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm Secretary of Nairn River Community Council. I just want to point out, here's a piece of geographical information that you probably passed on the way up, that there is a site on this overall Lochloy estate which should have been a school. 10 years ago a school was planned for this area, and we have not been able to get to the bottom of why that school was cancelled, because it was probably cancelled at a time there were a couple of hundred houses less on this site, and this wasn't even envisaged. So there are many questions why there is not a school here, and with green policies and kids walking to school being encouraged, it seems bizarre that there's going to be all this extra transportation required to bus a quarter of Nairn's children out of this estate down one single road and round to Aldern. It's not good for
Can I just confirm what you just said about, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounded like you said the bus would go eastward, i.e. that way down Lochloy.
That is an option. The Queen's Highway goes there,
road.
And there will be...
That is a single track road, and actually I live 5 miles down that road, and there is already a bus that is trashing all the sidewalk, all the verges and everything else, and killing wildlife and everything else, and I have not had the opportunity to object to that possibility.
Our elected members are familiar with this situation about dual transport.
Eastbound is absolutely unacceptable.
As regards the development, can the council assure us that any roads put in here will be adopted by the council, because no roads in this area have being adopted by the council.
We've been here to-
I've tried for 4 years to get it, others
If we
have
get
tried
this
much
bill,
longer.
we'll adopt the roads.
So until everywhere else is adopted, the roads here cannot be adopted. Will the respective buyers be informed of that? So they can make a reasoned
Mark,
choice?
can you do that? The developer will be required to build the roads to an adoptable standard. And when they're built and accepted to an adoptable standard, then the council would adopt them. They would adopt them off the back of these roads being adopted, because we wouldn't adopt the roads in isolation because they'd be an island. So these roads would have to be adopted before those roads were adopted.
So the answer is no. You can't be assured because this road is not adopted. And you never said not yet. Montgomery hasn't been adopted either. So all these roads have not been adopted.
That's correct.
So until these are adopted, that road cannot be adopted.
That's correct.
And you can't give me any assurance that this road is going to be adopted. And if you can't assure that that road they're going to build,
The intention is that these roads will be adopted, been built to adoptable standards, and it's linked in with various issues with drainage and Scottish water and things like that.
Yeah, so you can't give me any assurance at all. You can't give me anybody any assurance the road is going to be adopted.
They will be built to an adoptable standard.
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked.
Right, one more question here.
The pumping station.
On you go.
For those that live close proximity, noise, is there a noise issue with
Smell.
that? That's something I'm very concerned with because I just live there and all the folk are backing onto it. This is a quiet place to stay in the evening to hear a pin drop. Are we going to have something droning away in the background doing this pumping thing and smells coming out?
What,
That's my main
why do we
concern.
need to build places here at all? You've got all the flooding problems, you've got sewage problems, you've got all sorts of problems in there.
Okay.
And you still do want to build houses.
Okay, we're going to go carry on to the next site.
One more question, so I'm not going to the next slide.
We're going to carry on to the next site and pick up the next questions then. I'll take this gentleman here last.
The gentleman here asked a valid question about transport and site links, and you gave a sweetener of bus shelters. For those people who aren't familiar with the area, be aware that if there's any problem on Montgomery Drive, which is the only access to the whole estate and that, there's people here of an age, or any age, that can need emergency services. There is nothing with one road in and one road out, particularly in winter, on a road that isn't gritted.
Last question, Phil.
I just have two quick clarifications. Nicola, you mentioned that the majority of the land was in the development plan, and Mark, you just said something about existing issues with Scottish water and drainage with regard to the doctrines.
This is about the Suds Basin and getting the details of the Suds Basin sorted out and finalised in terms of ongoing ownership and responsibility, and then when that's bottomed out, the roads will be adopted off the back of that.
So it's not about live flooding and draining issues on the road?
No.
Okay, and the majority is in the local plan?
There's a triangle of land.
We'll see it at our next stop.
Yeah, that's fine, as long as I can see it on site.
It's towards Kingsteps.
Can I just make
No, thanks.
It's in the plan.
We need to move on, Larry.
Well, just, are you going around the Kingsteps?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Could I ask you to point out the approximate location of any proposed bridge or footbridge across the railway line?
Okay.
Because if you're going around there, you're not going to have the opportunity to do it.
I'll do that back at committee, but if you were to go round Lyle Road, if you were to go round by Lyle Road, that's an extension of green space that goes up towards the railway. That was the indicative location for the rail crossing. That is currently being investigated by Transport Planning this year as to the best option to develop and design that bridge and the connectivity on the other side. But that would be the location. It's away from here.
Just for the memory.
Okay, thanks very much. We're now going to move on to the next site.
Where's the next site, Jerry?
East Kingsteps.
Listen.